Hello everyone, this is Mumbo and welcome back to another episode of the Hermitcraft server. It is episode 150. 150 episodes on Hermitcraft Season 5. That is totally ridiculous. I know I say this every single time we hit one of these milestones, but it does not feel like it's been that many episodes. This season has absolutely flown past. To think that we actually started this season over a year ago is completely mind-blowing for me. But that being said, I mean, we have got so much stuff done. I mean, think about how many projects we've worked on in this season. It's been totally ridiculous, and there is one project that has been ongoing throughout the entire Hermitcraft season. From the very beginning, it was kind of the basis of this season of Hermitcraft, and it's actually finally been completed. This isn't one of my projects, but it's definitely probably one of the coolest projects on the Hermitcraft server, and I think we should start off this episode by flying over there and taking a look. So here we go. I have just popped through the nether portal, and already I can see some interesting stuff going on. And wow, this looks... it looks so cool, doesn't it? I would never... see, this is where... I think this is what sets apart really good builders from your average builder. So I would consider myself... I know I blast myself for being a bad builder. I would say I'm like an average builder in Minecraft. I build some things, sometimes they look pretty good. Sometimes they look horrendously ugly. That's kind of how these things go. But the thing that sets really good builders apart is that they get really creative with it. Like, for example, using nether warts. You could give me 100 years to come up with this build, and I would never think to use nether wart in it. I think it's safe to say it would never happen. It would never come into my head. And things like this stuff, I don't even know what this is. Is it podzol? I can't even remember the name of it, but the number of different textures and different colors that we have going on in this area, man, it's just, there's so much going on. Look at this, look! Oh, we've got like ruined houses, and this is properly ruined houses. This isn't my type of ruined house. This is like, that looks like a ruined house. And it's got a path going up to it. It makes total sense. And then there, I'm guessing that's the entrance into the actual downstairs area, which we've all seen before and looks amazing. But I love, oh, the potato fields. Oh, I don't want to trample anything. But it all looks so good. It all just looks so good. This is such a cool area. Even the trees. So you guys have been asking me to design trees for my area in the town, for the town area. You know what, now that I'm seeing this, yeah, oh yeah. Look how much better these trees are than the ones that are in Minecraft. I hadn't even noticed, that's how good they are. They just fit right in. Wow, amazing work by Scar. Amazing stuff. And everyone else that worked on this project. This is fantastic. Now, I did try my hardest to not do the standard thing that I always do when I get to a new build, which is to take off and look at it from above. I wanted to get up close and personal with all the details, but now we've done that, I thought I'd do a quick fly around with the Elytra just to see what it looks like, and jeez, look at that. I hadn't actually noticed. So then, oh, I see. So the nether wart is kind of like remnants of this, the rift, or whatever we're calling it, the kind of Stranger Things style infection that we have going through the floor. That makes total sense, and it looks fantastic. I mean, it's seriously cool. So it's awesome to see this thing from above now. And wow, this is actually starting to show how close all of the builds on the Hermitcraft server are. I mean, look, there's Wells Night. There is the way into Scar's town. And then over here, we have got Tango Tech's base, which is equally very cool looking. Cool, the people on Hermitcraft really are talented, aren't they? That is one heck of a view. What a view. Anyway, now it's time to go back to my not so cool looking and slightly more ugly base, because there's something that you guys have been asking me to do quite a bit down in the comment section over the past couple days. As you can see right here, I never fixed the brick. I mean, I built the walls, I said that I was going to fix it, and then I never did it. So today, that is going to happen. Perfect. Anyway, aside from that, there are also a handful of other small little things that I want to do on the roller coaster. The first thing that I want to do is actually create a proper entrance to this thing with like a queuing system and other bits and pieces like that, so we can actually start the minecart somewhere so that we don't endlessly loop around. And then also, I'm going to add a few extra details to the roller coaster because I love this project and I want it to be even better. Right, I'm hoping that when we come back around here, we should stop on our little minecart track. So here goes. Wrapping our way round, and then... Oh, okay, so we need a little bit more breakage. Right, well that's the entrance done. I don't think we need anything too spectacular going on there. I mean, TNT Land roller coaster, and then we have the minecart that's nicely stopped on this new little powered rail here. I think that just about does it. We hop inside, we hit the button, and boom, we're off. Okay, now it's time to add in another little detail which was well requested in the comment section, in my emails, on Twitter, pretty much everywhere, and that is to put in the loop-de-loop. I don't know where I'm even going to put this thing. I would say here. That is the perfect spot for a loop. Okay. So, I need to remember how to build this thing. I know that it involves some slime blocks and some launchers, and that will flip us around and then bring us back down to here. Okay. Okay, I think part 1 has been completed, so we have all of the redstone that is going to be dealing with the launcher. And you know what? I actually think that's incorrect. I'm fairly certain that this sticky piston has to go down here, and then we're going to need to get rid of these iron bars, and then I think that's more like it. So this will come across like this, we'll get launched up there, launched across, round the top, and then we'll fall back down onto these minecart rails, which will then transport us across, and then we will continue forth from there. So that is kind of how it goes. Now I am very curious to see how this has ended up looking. Let's take a look. What I've decided to do is I've decided to fill this area in with iron bars. We've also got some iron bar support struts down at the bottom there. So let's take a look at what this thing has actually ended up looking like out the front there. And I have to say, that looks really, really cool, doesn't it? So there we go, we've got ourselves a little loop-the-loop in our roller coaster, and it fits in perfectly with the rest of the roller coaster. That looks fantastic. That's brilliant. Okay, now we actually need to see if it works. So here goes. I'm coming around the corner here, just making my way down past the cows and everything like that. And... oh, that looked like it was quite close. But not quite. I wonder what I've done wrong there. So I've just spent a bunch of time fiddling around with all the timing circuits and everything like that, and now... well, it was working, but now it's broken again. So I've just spent a bunch of time working on the timing circuits and things, and now it should all be working. So let's take a look. There it is. One fully functioning loop-the-loop system, and then we stop back at the beginning. It doesn't get much better than that. Oh, but I think you'll find it does. Because fireworks are a thing. Fireworks being shot out of the roller coaster. I mean, that's the stuff that dreams are made of. Now, does anyone have any idea on how to craft a decent firework? It's been ages since I've crafted anything other than these fireworks. The ones that don't really explode. I feel like we need some form of... was it a firework? Is it firework star? There's a firework star. Does it involve a fire charge? If it involves a fire charge, then that takes the mick a little bit. Turns out it doesn't. So, I've crafted up a whole bunch of these, and let's see. So this is a small ball, and it is red. Now I want to see what this actually looks like. That looks pretty nice. That's perfectly fine. I'm happy with that. Okay, we need more. I've decided I want a little bit more crackle in my fireworks, so I've got myself a bunch of glowstone, and that's going to be used in there. And then to get the red dye, I'm just bone mealing this tall flower here, which for those who don't know, gives you more tall flowers. It's pretty awesome. Anyway, that is now all done, so I'm just running around all the dispensers, and I should be able to put in one full stack of these fireworks for every single one of the dispensers, which means that we'll have plenty of rides in this thing before it runs out of juice. So here goes. Now is the perfect time to do it, because it's night time. If we set off, we should now see that we get fireworks going off as we make our way around. I suddenly got so scared then, because, I mean, these explosions from these fireworks, they cause damage. Could they also ignite TNT? I mean, I'm assuming they're not going to ignite the TNT. I think we should be okay, but this looks great. Alright, that's the final detail we needed, I think. I'm really, really happy with this place. But now it is time to move on to the next project, which is down in the storage system. Something that I mentioned in the previous episode of Hermitcraft, and I thought about it over the past couple days. And you know what I think is a pretty good idea? And that is to put item frames on a lot of the chests. Not all of the chests, because that will cause a horrendous amount of lag, but a decent number of item frames just so I know roughly where certain things are. So for example, I have an item frame up here, that means stone, cobblestone, and then we'll have stone, and then maybe an item frame down at the bottom of some of these, which just shows the different items. So whenever the items change in the column, that's when we'll have an item frame. Yeah, I'm going to need tons of leather for this. Right, I think I've worked out pretty much all the placements for all of the item frames. So that is going to be blaze, and then that is all the stuff for the base. Then this is miscellaneous, and I've realised I have never filled in this area of the storage system. So maybe that might be something that we do in today's Hermitcraft episode. In fact, you know what? I'm actually going to start placing in a few item frames here. So maybe that'll be melons, pumpkins, and then gunpowder, blah, 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 blah. All the different things from the different farms that I have in my base area, we can fill in these. But as you can see, if we make our way around, we have got item frames in all sorts of different areas that are signaling where certain types of items are going to be. Now we need to actually put the items inside the item frames. That is the next step, and clearly I've already started with some obsidian down there. Oh man, this looks about 1,000,000 times better than it did before. Why did I never do this? It's taken me 150 episodes, probably more like 100 and maybe 10 episodes since I actually built it to put item frames up. That's like the single biggest improvement I've made to this area in ages. So that just about completes this one as well, just a final item in the item frame there, and that is all of these chests itemized so that we can actually see where all of the items in the storage system sit. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Now what I'm going to do is I'm quickly going to clear out my inventory, and we're going to grab some of the items that we have from the storage system up above, up in this area over here, and we're going to put them in this zone. So as I mentioned earlier on, so melons, pumpkins, that's fine. Then wheat and bread, I think those two are ones. Carrots, potatoes, I guess beetroot and sugarcane. And then what else do we have going on? There's got to be more than that. There is more than that. I know there's more than that. But while I was up here, I also thought it would be a good idea to actually put some item frames on these chests, because I was getting a little bit confused as to where my items were down here. So that should fix that. I guess I probably should do it for these chests down at the bottom too. And in go all of the pumpkins. And then in go all of the pumpkins in this one as well. And that will be the first half of all of our farming resources in the farming section of our storage system, which is the biggest section of the storage system that we've just never ended up using. Then we have another 8. We've got 8 to go. I must have been nuts to think that there's not even 8 different types of farming resources you can get. Well, that's pretty ridiculous. I've just come through into this area here for the first time in a little while, and the storage silos for the cactus farm are completely filled. These cactus farms that we built must be ridiculously efficient because they are fully filled up. I suppose we do spend quite a lot of time over by the base, but that is so much more cactus than we're ever going to need. Like, seriously. So as I couldn't think of any other farms to fill in the final 2 slots, I thought it would be a good idea to have some extra storage for all of the prismarine bits, because prismarine seems to fill up pretty much every single area of my storage system. So, there we have the prismarine, there we have cocoa beans, we have cactus, we have wheat, we have seeds, we've got even the little blue flowers, which I seem to be collecting loads of, we've got the bread, potatoes, carrots, pumpkins, melons, sugarcane, and beetroot, and all of these are all fully filled in, so if we were to put items inside the item sorter, they would then be sorted into the correct locations in the farming section of my sorting system. So you know what, this is pretty monumentous, because that is the last little segment of the sorting system which hasn't had a purpose, and now it does, that's pretty special. I mean, this is a strong moment. I don't know how to celebrate this, but I feel like it's quite important. Alright, next thing that we need to do in today's Hermitcraft episode is something that you guys have been saying quite a bit down in the comment section, and is probably one of the #1 comments that I received on the episode where I built this mine, which I have to say, I'm still really happy with how this mine turned out. It's probably my favourite build in the town area so far. I just think I don't know, something about it is just, it's super cool, and I'm definitely finding my rhythm when it comes to building like this. I know this sounds strange, but when I first started the town, like, for example, the lighthouse that I built at the start, I might make some changes to it at some point, because, I don't know, I've never really built something like this before, so I kind of had to find my flow, and now we're finally getting there. But one thing that I did totally forget is an entrance to this place. Currently you can't get into the mine. There's no way that you're actually able to get in here, so we're going to try our best to fix that. I'd say the entrance should go somewhere around about here, and I've been thinking it might be cool to get some redstone in. Maybe a little bit, especially... I mean, I kind of wanted to have this drop down fully, so this all moves out the way. Could be difficult. Actually, it shouldn't be too bad. If we have some visible pistons in there out the back, then it should be absolutely fine, because of course we did a circuit that was similar to that when we were building up Scar's piston door. The only thing is that I cannot remember where I put Scar's piston door in the redstone testing world, so we're going to have to go on a bit of a hunt here. Having spent the best part of half an hour looking for it to no avail, I think it would be much faster for me to design my own new one, because I have a pretty good idea of actually how to build this thing. And part 1 should now be constructed, so if I place in all of the blocks up at the top here, this is going to be our doorway, and if we flick the lever... Wicked, so that was nice and quick. Okay, so next up, what we have to do is pulse that piston, then this piston, then that piston, and that's it all designed. And that is the system. It's not the most compact thing on the world. In fact, it's very uncompact, but it's quite simple, and it does the trick. Okay, let's construct this thing on the Hermitcraft server. So part 1 is done. We have cleared out the entire space, and I'm just in the process of placing in all of the sticky pistons and all of the observers. So I think those are the sticky pistons that are going to move the blocks out of the way. These are the observers. I'm losing the ability to speak today. These are the observers which are going to be powering these pistons, and then underneath them we're going to have redstone lines which are going to be doing the double piston extending. Yeah, I guess now it's time to actually put in all the wiring circuits, which should be almost finished. So we need a repeater set to 3 ticks on this one, and as far as I can tell, I just run this back around like this and into that area there. So I'm going to need a little bit more redstone from my redstone shulker box, which shouldn't be too tricky. But then once that's done, we should have ourselves a fully functioning redstone circuit. So that powers that does that. That's all good. Then we just need some grass underneath these pistons here. And then I guess we need to get ourselves some actual blocks in the door so that we can build this thing up so that it functions. So I'm going to just place in maybe a handful of cobblestone blocks just to test it out. And if we give the lever a flick that is down at the bottom here, which is quite a precarious location, that's not the best of starts. No. I wonder what's caused that not to function then. So the closing definitely works. I think the opening might work if we actually put the blocks in place. So that was... I'm getting myself lost in what way round it was. So hopefully this will be... Okay, I've got that all wrong. So this needs to be replaced. So that's now like that. So this is now closed. And now we should see that when we flick this lever... Oh, it's still not working. After making some changes to the wiring, I'm hoping that this now functions. So there we go. There is the opening. And there is the closing. Brilliant. Okay, this actually works. Right, let's do some decoration and clean up this area. So there we go. That's all done. Flick the lever and that will close up our piston door. That's all looking good. We flick the lever again and that will open everything up. And as you can see out the back here, everything is looking nice. Even the pistons in the floor, because it's a mine, we kind of get away with that sort of thing. So I think that just about wraps everything up for this project, which just about wraps everything up for today's episode on the Hermitcraft server. It's been a little bit all over the place. We've been working on all sorts of different things in this episode. I do quite like doing this sort of thing where we just take on all sorts of different projects. So I do hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please sure to that like button. And if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.